Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Couldn't be more pleased that we got this done in time for the end of the year. The president wanted direct payments, so we will be sending out next week direct deposit. I expect we'll get the money out by the beginning of next week. $2,400 for a family of four, so much needed relief just in time for the holidays. We also have extensions of the PPP to small business, particularly restaurants. The president is particularly concerned about restaurants, so we restored the deductibility of meal expenses.
That right there, Steve Mnuchin, happy with what they got passed and the whole 9 yards, yada, yada, yada. Some people aren't happy. Some people are. Some people are pissed. It wasn't enough. Some people are like, my God, how much money have we spent? Everybody got something. Welcome to the world of... Now, two things happened. I just want to show. Two things happened yesterday. First, you got the stimulus. Second, you got the omnibus bill. So everybody's trying to throw everything into one. There was a ton of stuff. A lot of money went out yesterday. A lot of people got their dollar bills. A lot of people got their pet projects. A lot of stuff is happening between the omnibus and this. Is it enough? Is it ever enough? As our good friend Rand Paul says, is it ever enough?
This bill is free money for everyone. Proponents don't care if you're fully employed or own your own house or own your own business. Free money for everyone, they cry. And yet, if free money were the answer, if money really grew on trees, why not give more free money? Why not give it out all the time? Why stop at $600 a person? Why not $1,000? Why not $2,000?
Why not? Because it's silly to think that. Look, is $600 going to save the world? No, it's not. You know that, and I know that. Is it going to help some people? Yes. Is it going to do anything? It might have done some stuff several weeks ago. Right now, look, the best thing that we can do, the best thing that we should be doing is getting ourselves to the point where we have herd immunity through vaccinations and getting ourselves back out there working. That's the best thing we can do. For some people, it's too much. For other people, it's never enough.
We are in a national emergency. Even if the vaccines get out as quickly as people hope, it's still going to be 3 or 4 months. How are people possibly going to survive on $600 over the next 3 or 4 months? I don't understand the mathematics. And yet we are, as a nation, able to afford $740 billion for the military for just 1 year. We are able, as a nation, to afford a $2 trillion tax cut for the wealthy and for big corporations. I mean, the priorities are bizarre.
It's never enough for anybody. Go and look, by the way, for a lot of this other stuff in these bills that are out there. So many different things get their own, and nobody ever wants to point out, oh, you gave this to that, and you gave how much to here, and look what's in this side thing, and you got money for this museum and that. I've always wanted to be hyper-focused. In D.C., you don't do that. Why focus on one thing when you can do a dozen different things and pack it all into one, hoping that through all of this, people will just look and not really pay any attention? How big is this damn thing?
This is one of the largest spending packages the Congress will approve in U.S. history. It totals $2.3 trillion, a $1.4 trillion spending bill that will fund the government through September 2021, and $900 billion for COVID-19 relief. The entire legislative text is 5,593 pages long, and Congress intends to pass the massive bill later Monday. According to our calculations, at £6 per ream of paper, which is 500 sheets, this $2.3 trillion bill weighs about 67 pounds, printed single-sided.
So passed it is, but I just wanted you to soak that up. This was from yesterday. 6,000 pages almost, and almost 70 pounds. Everybody, including the paper company, got something. Everybody, including the people who make the ink, got something. That's government right there in a nutshell. That's government right there. And like I said, it's never enough for some. For some, it's too much. And for some, we're spending over $2 trillion. And at the end of the day, people are still going to be pissed.
I think that everybody has a right to be upset, at least upset about what is going on and why the priorities are being set as they are.
So it's almost 70 pounds. Do you think that this is all for just big corporations and stuff? You don't think there's a bunch of stuff in there for both sides that they decided to spend on their pet projects?
You've got to be careful with old people, as most of us in Congress are. They don't like being old in the first place, so they get kind of touchy. And these negotiations were very touchy, and we had to be patient. But I think we're going to have a reasonably good result. It gives more money to small business, gives more money to the American people, gives more money to vaccine distribution.
But is it enough?
Oh, it's real help. It's $1 trillion, for God's sakes. There is no money, Ferry. We don't have this money. Will it be enough? I think it will be, but we're just going to have to wait and see.
It'll never be enough. Don't be surprised that in the new year, March, April, they want to roll out another thing and throw some cash out there. I have a real sense that this is going to happen. You know that, and I know that, because that's the way we work. And anytime they can come together and hand out money, they'll love to do that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from all of you. All that being said, yesterday, President-elect Joe Biden.
All right. No, you just go ahead anytime you're ready. Well, look, we owe these folks an awful lot. Frontline workers, we owe you big. One of the things is that I think that the administration deserves some credit getting this off the ground with Operation Warp Speed.
He got his shot yesterday. Good for him. Glad he did. Fauci, several other people in the administration right now will be getting their shots. Now, here's the thing. We've got something else going on. We have a new strain of this. Should we be worried right now?
I think this is already in the U.S. I don't think a travel ban at this point is going to prevent this mutated strain from coming into the United States. I mean, we're going to have an epidemic that continues to build over the course of the next 3 or 4 weeks. We'll reach a peak, and then we'll start to see infection rates decline as we see vaccinations get rolled out. As you have fully 30% of the population probably infected at some point by the end of January. And as we get into the spring, as we start to get into February and March, and you get a seasonal backstop. So I don't think this mutated strain right now is going to create a second wave, if you will.
Yeah, that's Dr. Gottlieb there, that's good to hear. But the continuous thing, I mean, the continuous thing I get asked throughout the last 24 hours after hearing about this from a lot of people is, how bad is this one that's in the UK? Is it more deadly? Everybody knew something like this was potentially possible.
There have been thousands of mutations already in this virus. It's more contagious. I think what scares people, Scott, or what causes concern is if it's mutating fairly easily, is it possible there could be a mutation that could make it more lethal? This is not that. This is more contagious.
This is a mutation. This is more transmissible. But what this does suggest is that eventually this virus probably will evolve its surface proteins in a way that they won't be recognized by the antibodies we have right now. We will have to update the vaccines.
And just to let you know about the vaccine, they'll continue to update these things. I think the goal eventually is to get it to where it's one shot. They'll always update these things as they go along, like we've talked about since the beginning of this thing, based on the things we've seen, the people we've talked to on this Dog and Pony Show or the Chad Benson Show, is this is more going to be endemic than pandemic at the rate this thing's going. I mean, it's always kind of going to be here. So they will be continuing to evolve this thing as we move forward. They'll continue to do that. The reality of what we have right now is it doesn't seem to be any more dangerous, but potentially it is throwing a wider net. And as I've explained to people, when it comes to this, is it as deadly as the flu? Probably about as deadly, if not a little bit more deadly. The difference is you go into a room and there's 100 people, one person has the flu, maybe 2 or 3 people may get the flu. You go into a room where there's 100 people and they have COVID-19, potentially 10 people get it. The net is much bigger. Where even if it wasn't as deadly, because the net is so much bigger, this is what happens. We're going to get through this. I know that. You know that. I think we all understand that, and it's frustrating as hell. But don't listen to the doom and gloom about, oh, my God, here's the next thing, and we're going to be like this in a year. I do not believe that. I do think we're going to have a little bit of a strain to start the 2021 year, but I have a feeling in my gut and based on the people I've talked to and the numbers I've seen that by the middle to end of next year, we'll be back to near normal, a.k.a. pre-coronavirus. And that's what we're looking for. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from all of you. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. Absolutely to delicious. So this is the way it comes to you. So you order, you go to HelloFresh.com, use the promo code Benson. And what ends up happening is you get the choices to choose from. So there's 3 different choices. You have vegetarian, you have family friendly, and you have low calorie. You choose what you want. They deliver it sourced directly from the grower, so it's contact free, sent right to you. Inside of there's 23 across the week. There's 23 different kind of chef curated recipes. So these amazing chefs put these things together. You have a recipe card. So you go to your refrigerator. You say, we're going to do this tonight. So you save time. You put it together in about 20 to 30 minutes. Meals are served. You're ready to eat. It is awesome. Save big too. Big. 40% versus shopping at the grocery store, as well as on your portions because they're portioned perfectly. So you're going to save about 25% on that. Go to HelloFresh.com. Promo code is Benson. When you do that, $80 off and free shipping. HelloFresh.com. Promo code Benson. HelloFresh.com. Promo code Benson. $80 off and free shipping. Chad Benson Show.
Darn, that climate change. Batten down the hatches. It's Topical Storm Chad, headed your way.
The distortion, the calling it a hoax, has caused hundreds of thousands of deaths, not all of them attributed to President Trump,
Never
but
called
most
it a
of
hoax.
them. They could have been avoided. So this is a matter of life and death, the lives of the American people and the livelihood of our economy and their economic security.
He never called it a hoax, by the way. He said it was a Democratic hoax. So let's go back. But nobody ever fact checks some people and they'll fact check somebody 24/7. And he deserves to be fact checked because he says a lot of crap that just ain't true. He does. Let's not pretend that Trump does it. In saying that, it's another one of those situations where it's somebody else's fault. Congress always has to whine about the other side. They always need the other side to be, there's bad people. It's this person's fault. It's that person's fault. You know what? At the end of the day, you guys are on the same team. So, like it or not, if one fails, I look at it and think all of you fail. That's it. And that's right. Am I wrong? I mean, you guys are part of the United States Congress. This isn't like the United States of blue states and the United States of red states, as much as people like to believe. You guys are part of the same team. Well, we have different. I get it. The end of the day, though, different ideas or not. I played sports my whole life. I played at one time. Oh my God, I hate to say this. 30 years ago, at a very high level. God, that's freaky to say, but the reality is we all had ideas of how we should play, what our best position was, what we should be doing on the field compared to what the manager thinks or what this person thinks or that. But at the end of the day, if we lost, it wasn't that, you guys lost, I didn't. Or that side of the team lost, our side of the team didn't. It didn't work that way. And I think we need to start looking at them in that way. There's Nancy Pelosi there, for those who don't. Yesterday, I got this tweet from somebody because I said, she was bitching, whining, and moaning, which I also said the same thing about the other guys because I say the same thing about the other guys, i.e. the 2 oldest people, and that's Mitch McConnell, even though they're not the oldest, and Chuck Schumer, who Mitch looks like and sounds like the turtle. All right, everybody. And Chuck Schumer looks like an 80s monster movie, kids monster movie vampire. He looks like the guy that, like, if you were younger, if it was a younger Chuck Schumer, you'd be like, aren't you Count Chocula? So, but I was accused of being a misogynistic because, totally am. Let's see here. What did he say about me? This is great because I'm super. Like always, at Chad Benson displays his misogyny. Chuck Schumer and Mitch McConnell fight while Nancy Pelosi bitches. His response will be, I didn't say that. Doesn't matter what I say. If you're looking to be offended in life, you'll find it. If you're looking to be offended about something, you will find it. We were joking about, before we even came back from the break, that when are gingerbread man going to be put on notice that you are not a it'll be genderbread man or genderbread woman. That's the way they're going to do it from now on. Hey, did you guys like a genderbread? What the hell's that? It's a gingerbread person that we've given genders to. Mine is a genderbread man. Yours may be a genderbread they, them, he, she, him, her, cisgendered gingerbread men. People will look to be offended. They'll find it. You could say 100 things about and critical of politicians. You could say 100 things. Somebody who wants to be right on something will find that thing that they disagree with based on whatever it is, and they'll run with it. So, I'm misogynistic. I'm good with that. So it's just a basic. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Do love hearing from every single one. You're going to break down Christmas songs. Give you little tidbits behind the scenes of some of the world's greatest Christmas songs. Written by some people. You're like, what? Written and sang during times of the year. You're like, are you kidding me? Songs with great backstories because it's that time of year. I'm excited. I finished all of my Christmas shopping yesterday. Finished all of it. I am excited to be done with Christmas shopping. I love the Christmas shop, but this year didn't get out as much as I wanted to. So I had to kind of rush yesterday and finish up a couple things. And it's awful because you go to a place and you're shopping and the next thing you know, you go in specifically to buy something and you found it. But on the way out, you find another 8 things. And all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, how much did I spend? Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Health officials say limiting holiday celebrations to members of your household only is the safest bet. But if you are traveling, they're urging precautions. Surgeon General Jerome Adams says,
now is the time to be especially prudent about limiting your bubble. Don't go out to a Ohio State football game party with 10 of your buddies and then go home to grandma.
Brown University's Dr. Ashish Jha adds,
limit exposure, wear masks indoors as much as possible.
The 3 straight days of 1 million-plus air travelers are the first time that's happened since the pandemic began.
Yeah, so be careful if you're traveling out there. I know you don't believe it, some of you, but the reality is if you got sick and you passed it on to somebody, that would suck. But I don't believe it's true. I know you don't believe it's true. I know you think it's some sort of hoax or whatever. But just humor people. Just humor. And it's sad that we turned this thing into chaos and craziness when there was really no reason to. We should have fought against it rather than with each other. And here we are. So if you're going to travel, as usual, just be safe. Be cautious. Don't be stupid. We all take calculated risk. All that being said, just try to limit yourself when it comes to the holiday. That's it. That's what we've done. I didn't see my family this year at all. I haven't seen my family in almost a year. And I've got a new baby niece I've never seen. So it sucks. But I don't want to get anybody sick. They don't want to get me sick. And a lot of that has to do with me because I work with a couple people that produce on my local show, one of which is compromised immune. And I would feel awful if he was to get sick. And I respect him enough, and he's not stopped working, and he comes and he busts his butt, and I respect him enough that I would never want to put him in a bad situation. That's a lot of what it is. Can you respect people enough? Same thing with travel. It's just about respecting other people enough and what they're asking you to do. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Like I said, Christmas, few days away. We're counting down some great songs. Just a little behind the scenes of some of the greatest songs in history of Christmas.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You really are a heel.
It's one of the great songs of all time. Thurl Ravenscroft. What a great name. Listen to that voice.
Banana with a greasy black peel.
Born in 1914, died in 2005. Fullerton, a giant man, 6'5", but it's the voice.
You're a monster
That we love. Sounds familiar not just from here. It's because he was Tony the Tiger for almost 5 decades. If you've ever been to Disneyland, you will hear his voice throughout it. Mark Twain's Riverboat, Pirates of the Caribbean, Disney Railroad, The Enchanted Tiki Room, and if you're on the Haunted Mansion, he is one of the heads singing at the end of it.
Mr. Grinch, you have termites in.
I love his voice. That's one of those voices that, quite frankly, I'll say, yeah, you're blessed a little bit with it, but I have a feeling, and stop me if I'm wrong here, Phil, I have a feeling that some whiskey and some smokes probably help you get there.
I would think so.
You would think there is that thing, because that is a voice and a half right there, and it is awesome. I just love that song, and it's the voice, man. Can you hear it? And you're like, oh yeah, they're great. That's exactly what it's all about. Then we can look at some of the other stuff that's out there. Some of these great songs that through the years just were amazing. Of course, we all remember.
And children listen.
Hear that right there? You know what that is? Little White Christmas. You're like, oh, what if I had to sing that? You know, White Christmas is still the number one selling single in the history of the world. Over 50+ million copies sold. For a while, it was eclipsed by Candle in the Wind, the redo after Princess Diana died. But it's still the number one selling Christmas and actual single song of all time. And it was written by Jewish songwriter Irving Berlin. Irving Berlin also didn't like Elvis Presley. So when he did White Christmas, he tried to prevent radio stations from playing it. But he was the king, baby. You can't stop the king from being the king. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from each and every one of you. I found this to be interesting. The battle still continues when it comes to Trump and trying to figure out exactly what is going to happen or not happen as far as people are concerned that are still trying to figure out, is there a way for him to be still the president of the United States? Is there a way? No. Sorry. Don't think there is a way. Some of you may think January 6th, when they all get together, that there's going to be some sort of saving of it. People have been calling for martial law. That stuff is nuts.
Sidney Powell, a lawyer who some Trump allies flatly say is crazy, has been at the White House twice in the past 2 days, urging the president to use the full power of his office to investigate a conspiracy theory about rigged voting machines and to make her a special counsel, a move even Rudy Giuliani opposes.
Yeah. He said no. Not going to do that. We're not going to do any of that craziness. We want no part of that, which is great. I agree 110%. That stuff is nuts. William Barr came out yesterday. What did he say? We're not going to do that. We're not going to have a special, super special counsel for this or for Hunter Biden at this point, which, of course, angered people. But even some of Trump's most staunchest allies are now saying it's time to get the net because it's over.
With all his
talent and the ability to raise money and draw large crowds, the president still lives in an alternate reality. He really does. People say, well, he lies about this, that, and the other. But no, he isn't lying. To him, that's the truth. He had the biggest crowd on Inauguration Day. He had more people than ever. He was the most popular people. He saved NBC, but with The Apprentice, you go down the line of things that really aren't true.
Yeah, that's Pat Robertson saying, "Yeah, no. It's not true. You didn't save NBC. You didn't do any of these things. You lie." And it's so funny because when you call him on it, you get massive blowback. And I know I'm going to get a bunch of crap for this, but here's the reality of it. He does lie a lot. Now, there's also a lot of stuff that he tells that ends up being the truth that people just kind of gloss over. But it's nonstop. One of the things he points out is the fact that he believes a lot of this stuff, too. Trump believes a ton of this stuff. Trump believes a lot of this stuff to be real. You know, I remember a few years ago, there was a book that came out about Trump and golf and Trump cheats and these kind of things. And they pointed stuff out. And I started laughing. I said, here's the thing about Trump. Trump comes from a world, and there's no excuse for this, but he comes from a world where he believes everybody else is cheating. He believes that everybody else is taking advantage of him or trying to take advantage of him. So he's doing the exact same thing that he thinks everybody else is doing. That's not an excuse, but that's just the reality of his belief system.
And, people kept pointing to them, but because they loved him so much and he was so strong for the evangelicals were with him all the way. But there was something about him that was good, that God placed him in that office for the time. He's done a marvelous job for the economy. But at the same time, he is very erratic, and he's fired people, and he's fought people, and he's insulted people, and it keeps going down the line. So it's a mixed bag. And I think it would be well to say, you've had your day, and it's time to move on.
Ooh. I'm sure everybody would be mad about that. But that's the reality of it. You've had your day. You've had your chance. You've gone to court. Nothing has come of it. It is time to move on. Pretty simplistic. If you want to come back, you're going to raise a ton of money. You have a chance to go from town to town and you're barnstorming things, make those things events again, keep yourself relevant. You'll have an opportunity to do two things. One, either be a shot caller, a kingmaker within the Republican Party and take even more control over it, or two, keep yourself relevant enough that if you want to run in 4 years, you have the chance. That's a you thing. Now, you may fight against the Democrats, but you're also going to fight against the Republicans, because I think a lot of Republicans are at the point where they're like, you know what? He came in, he did some stuff, he did some really good stuff, but we're over the headache and it's time to move on. And it's so interesting when you talk to people who are like, but look at all the things they do. Understand, this is people's work. Right? They love their fiefdoms. Mitch McConnell, well, he wants a Republican in the White House. If it meant him not being the head of the Senate, he'd probably say, nah, I like my gig. They all like their gigs. And Trump, for some Republicans, a lot of them, makes it tougher. Makes it a lot tougher. Doesn't mean he didn't do good stuff. But at the end of the day, I think several of the Republicans I've talked to, they feel like, okay, there's a weight lifted, and they feel like there's going to be some normalcy back in D.C., which allows them to control their fiefdom a little bit more. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Do love hearing from all of you. MyPillow got great deals on My Pillows. The one that started all. Normally they're $69.98 right now. Are you ready for this? Is everybody sitting down? Everybody? Are you guys sitting down? $40 off. Boom. Yeah. This is the one that started it all. $40 off. $29.98. $5 more for king size. If you're thinking to yourself, what's something you can do for yourself in the new year? This is it. Sleep better. Better sleep means better results in your life. It's just the reality. You're healthier, you're happier, you get more sleep, the better it is. Yesterday I went home and crashed. I needed it. Big time. Get yourself your MyPillow. Money back guarantee, 60 days. Mike's extended it into March. Fantastic. Machine washable and dryable, never going to go flat. Go to MyPillow.com. Use the radio listener code special, Benson. That's me. When you do that, you're going to save big. On top of that, they got all these other great deals just for you. Mattress toppers, Giza Dream Sheets, deep discounts. Take advantage of now. MyPillow.com. Promo code Benson. MyPillow.com. Promo code Benson. Chad Benson Show.
Check out our Chad Benson Show Facebook page where you can hang out or hang your grievances out to dry. This is Chad Benson.
You know Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Cupid and Donner and Blitzen. But do you recall the most famous reindeer of all? Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer.
Oh, I love that song. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I have seen A Year Without Santa Claus twice this year. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer on numerous occasions. Still love it. The claymation from Rankin Baskin. That right there, sang by Gene Autry, went to number one on the charts. Christmas 1949. In 1939, a guy by the name of Johnny Marks wrote the song. It was based on a 1939 story, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, published by the Montgomery Ward Company. How cool is that? I love it. Still one of the great things.
You'll go down in history.
And every one of you is singing it. And when you're a kid growing up, you start singing, you know. And in between the things you're singing. Never let you play in any reindeer games. And then your nose grew like a light bulb. We all did it. Don't pretend you didn't do it, kids. Don't pretend you didn't do it. Speaking of Christmas, speaking of the holidays, imagine this. You have a paragliding Santa delivering to you good tides and candy canes, except for there's an issue.
Trading in his reindeer for a hyperlight aircraft, a man in a big red suit found himself stuck in a tough situation.
We'll try and figure out the actual reason that he flew into the power lines.
In a tangle of wires, the aircraft dangled overhead. The man dressed as Santa strapped into the pilot's seat.
He was upside down for a long time. And the guy, that's scary. So it's a good thing they caught him, but didn't electrocute him.
Sacramento Metro Fire says the way the aircraft got caught in the lines and how Santa was seated didn't allow for an electrical current to run from the lines through the aircraft.
It looked like two tires were stuck up in the wires, and that's what was holding him.
Yep, he's fine. So crashed in Rio Linda, California. Just, that's all you need to know. It's so awesome. Every year, Santa does something silly. This isn't the real Santa, kids. This isn't the real Santa. This is somebody who thought he'd have fun, and this is one of the things he was going to do. And he dropped stuff off. Thinking, hey, I'm going to go and do something fun. Look at me, kids. Look at me drop stuff here. Oh, those damn wires. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Love hearing from you. Watched some football last night. Great game. The NBA kicks off, and they will not be in the bubble this time.
Most NBA teams will not have fans in their arenas when the season tips off tonight. That's different than usual, but it's a far cry from the Disney World bubble the league used to safely complete last season. That's something Commissioner Adam Silver acknowledged to our partners at ESPN.
There's no doubt we're going to have issues. We've been watching closely what's been happening, not just with other leagues, college sports, etc., that are playing outside of bubbles.
Silver told reporters Monday he hopes more fans will be able to return to arenas as the season progresses.
Yeah, I think that'll happen. I know the NFL would like to have people that have been vaccinated, first responders, the hospital workers, doctors at the Super Bowl. if that's a possibility. They're going to be extending invites to a bunch of people, which I think will be great. Some of the games this year, especially football, it feels weird. I was talking about last week how great the football game is last Monday night because what? You had human beings in the crowd. They weren't just cardboard cutouts. It felt real. Last night game was pretty decent. There was some people there, but the college football's had a weird year. A very weird year. Army is 9-2, is in the Independence Bowl, can't find anybody to play them. Some places opted out of bowls completely. So, and this year, the Rose Bowl, so the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl, which is played in Pasadena and has been forever, will be played in Arlington, Texas this year because you can't have fans there in Pasadena, and in Texas you can. It's an odd year for sports. That will change in the coming months, which is what we want, but it isn't going to be overnight. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. If I'm NBA teams, I am playing in a smaller venue rather than a larger venue. It's just me. I've noticed Real Madrid, one of the greatest soccer teams in the world, they're playing in their practice facilities, only about 4,000 or 5,000 seats in that little stadium. It just looks better comparatively to playing in front of 90,000 empty seats. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Before dawn, people waited at a South Florida mall on the weekend before Christmas. But they're not here holiday shopping. They're in line for free food.
Always been hesitant about coming because I'm sorry. I would hate for me to get the last of something and the person behind me be in a worse position than I am.
That's what's going on in America right now. People at a food bank. People who thought a year ago, if you told them, you guys are going to have to be at a food bank this time next year, they'd have said, no, we're not. But yeah, that's what's happening. Yesterday, they got the stuff done, and the bills passed, and they all pat themselves on their back, and, money's going to be going out.
Couldn't be more pleased that we got this done in time for the end of the year. The president wanted direct payments, so we will be sending out next week direct deposit. I expect we'll get the money out by the beginning of next week. $2,400 for a family of four, so much needed relief just in time for the holidays. We also have extensions of the PPP to small business, particularly restaurants. The president is particularly concerned about restaurants, so we restored the deductibility of meal expenses.
Steve Mnuchin there, talking about how everybody's excited. Oh, my God, we got a bill. Trump's going to be so happy, blah, 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 blah. It cost a ton of money. A ton of money for this. Now, there's two bills inside of this, two spending bills. Just want to give you guys, this is from yesterday, report yesterday, just an understanding of how big this thing is. It's not just about the stimulus. There's a lot that goes into this because we needed an omnibus bill to pay for everything on top of all of that. But just to get a sense of the size and scope of how many dollars are out there and how big this thing is.
This is one of the largest spending packages the Congress will approve in U.S. history. It totals $2.3 trillion, a $1.4 trillion spending bill that will fund the government through September 2021, and $900 billion for COVID-19 relief. The entire legislative text is 5,593 pages long, and Congress intends to pass the massive bill later Monday. According to our calculations, at 6 pounds per ream of paper, which is 500 sheets, this $2.3 trillion bill weighs about 67 pounds, printed single-sided.
Yeah, think about that. That's how big this is. There's a lot of money in there. Is there enough for people? I think for a lot of people, it's too little too late. For a lot of businesses, it's too little too late. Doesn't mean that this won't be a help. Doesn't mean that this isn't going to help people. In saying that, a lot of people got paid as well. A ton of people got paid. Robert Reich here, right? he's going to talk about, here's a guy who's been in the business for the political game for a very, very long, long time. He's going to talk about, this guy's former Secretary of Labor, very much a liberal. But he's going to talk about all the stuff that everybody got and how Americans are getting screwed. And some of it is true, but not all of it. Because we act like nobody else got anything. Let me tell you something. Both sides got a lot of stuff to spend dollars on. Did the American people potentially get screwed? They got screwed months ago when politics was more important than people.
We are in a national emergency. Even if the vaccines get out as quickly as people hope, it's still going to be 3 or 4 months. How are people possibly going to survive on $600 over the next 3 or 4 months? I don't understand the mathematics. And yet we are, as a nation, able to afford $740 billion for the military for just 1 year. We are able, as a nation, to afford a true $1 trillion tax cut for the wealthy and for big corporations. The priorities are bizarre.
No, the priorities are what they are. How can we make sure that everybody gets paid? And by everybody, I mean my donors, the big people throw money at us. That's what happens. People should be a little bit pissed. $600? No. What they should be pissed about is the fact that their businesses are closed. What they should be pissed about is the fact that they're not able to make a living. What they should be pissed about is the fact that they're playing politics and have been for months. And this goes for Mitch McConnell. This goes for Nancy Pelosi. This goes for Chuck Schumer and everybody else out there. They should be angry about the fact that it was more about not giving Trump a win than anything else. What they should be angry about is the fact that it became about an election at times when people's lives were falling apart rather than giving a little bit. That's what they should be angry about. So when you hear people talk about food banks, the fact that they never thought they would be there, that's a lot of people. Even people that are going to hold on to their homes and stuff like that. They were making serious choices about, like, we may lose our cars or we may do this, but we may survive. But we're turning here because we need to turn here right now.
Melon, can I have 2 melons here, please?
It's a scene replayed across the country from Los Angeles, where one food bank says distribution of groceries has doubled since the pandemic began, to the suburbs of Atlanta, where 500 cars waited for an hour and a half before distribution started.
This is another indication of the pain and the suffering that's being felt all across our nation.
Feeding America, the nation's largest food bank network, reports a 60% increase in the demand over last year.
Merry Christmas. God bless you guys.
It's huge. Like I say, when I get off on Tuesday or Wednesday nights, when I go home, the church by me that gives out food during those days, even during, regular non-COVID related, there would be, 1 or 2 people and there'd be a little truck out there and be handing some food out. Now you see it snake through my neighborhood, and from that church, it goes past down the street. From that church, my house, that church is about a mile from my house. People wait a couple hours in line to get food, and it's an 18-wheeler now. That's where we're at. That's why people are frustrated. That's why. And people, every single person feels what this lady feels.
In South Florida, 1 in 5 people need food assistance and a quarter of children go to bed hungry, according to Feeding South Florida. The mother of 3 teenagers was recently hospitalized and says she has lost her job twice since the pandemic started.
I'm very independent and do not like to ask for help, but sometimes you just have to do God humbles.
Yeah, it does. Like, people are sick and tired of the fighting that goes on and wants results. We don't need the perfect government. We don't need the most productive government. What we need is a government, though, that does some stuff for the people. The fact that we have government that can check itself without getting crazy is great. At the same time, stuff needs to be done. And we all too often see the men and women out there fight with each other, bitch, whine, and moan to the press about how bad the other side is. Talk about how evil the other side is. Talk about how one side wants to give money to this group, but the other side wants to give money to that group, and how we need to do this. It should be about the people. But it rarely is. It rarely is, because unless it benefits politically, people can always come in second. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. We've got a new coronavirus. How bad is it? It's here, potentially. Doesn't mean it's going to be 1,000 times worse. And oh my God, we just got the vaccine. It's mutated. Is it bad? Is it here? Is it going to kill everybody?
There have been thousands of mutations already in this virus. It's more contagious. I think what scares people, Scott, or what causes concern is if it's mutating fairly easily, is it possible there could be a mutation that could make it more lethal? This is not that. This is more contagious.
This is a mutation. This is more transmissible. But what this does suggest is that eventually this virus probably will evolve its surface proteins in a way that they won't be recognized by the antibodies we have right now. We will have to update the vaccines.
Dr. Gottlieb right there talking about the fact that, yeah, it is more contagious, but not lethal. And in fact, it may be less lethal. But when you throw in how contagious it is, that's where the danger comes in.
Some viruses like flu evolve their surface proteins very quickly, and that's why we need a different flu vaccine every season. Some viruses can't really change their surface proteins, like measles. This virus seems to fall someplace in between. So this probably will not slip past our vaccines very easily, but eventually we will have to update the vaccines. The antigen tests are a different question, and the antibody drugs for that matter.
Yeah, it'll be fine. They will have to, like everything else, they're going to figure out a way to make this vaccine better. Hopefully one shot, if we have to have it every year. Hopefully last longer, and hopefully get to the point where if we do have to have it every year, we can get to the point where we only have to have it once every 18 months or once every 24 months or eventually just once and be done with it. But we'll see. It's going to take time. But while you go and all you have to do is turn on the television and or go to any news site and they have it in big red, bold, breaking news, mutant strain. Oh my God. Breathe. It's going to be fine. It's going to be all right. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. We're celebrating great Christmas songs because I enjoy it. I enjoy Christmas. I love it. Been having a lot of fun. We got some more great ones. We can tell you a little behind the scenes of some of these awesome songs. Here's one for you, just a little behind the scenes. Jingle bells. We associate it with what? Christmas. Here's the reality. James Lord Pierpont didn't write it for Christmas. He actually wrote it for Thanksgiving. So it's truly a Thanksgiving song more than it's a Christmas song, but we feel it's a Christmas song. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show, Twitter. Wounded Paw, an amazing organization. Been working with them for a while. Love them. Talk about a group that is out there doing something that is truly amazing. They rescue animals that would be euthanized, dogs, train them and get them to our veterans, first responders, and their family. Veterans' suicide rate is up, but since the pandemic has started, it is sad to see what is happening. It truly is just scary. These dogs help in so many ways our veterans, not only as they return home from war to transition into what is, hopefully a normal life, but also they suffer with injuries and these animals help. They also help first responders and their family who are also going through a ton of things. Now, you can give in a lot of different ways, but a gift of a car would be fantastic. You take action today, turn your extra car, truck, RV, even a boat into a vehicle for change. As they say, you'll be saving a paw to save a life. Find out how you can help. You get a great tax-deductible gift. Go to woundedpawproject.org, woundedpawproject.org, or call 844-678-4729, 844-678, the number 4, and then paw. You'll be saving a paw to save a life. Chad Benson Show.
To be free. I am not a terrorist. I am not Antifa. I am not a sex slave that wears masks.
Don't be a cutie pie.
Probably sit around and cook some soups and eat bread and desserts and just get all fat and sassy.
You're ruining my life, man!
You haven't seen anything yet.
You're listening to The Chad Benson Show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending? Let's take a look, see what's trending. A lot of stuff. Kilauea, trending. First eruption since 2018. What's it doing? It's drawing onlookers, because that's exactly what you do when there is a volcano. You run right at it, take a picture of it. Chad? Yeah, UK coronavirus variant trending. John Mulaney, comedian, very funny. He's checked himself back into rehab. He's been very open, and we'll touch on it later, about his struggles with alcohol and substance. Kevin Green, former Pittsburgh Steeler, I think he was a 49er, he was a Ram, died yesterday at the age of 58, the third all-time leader in sacks, arguably one of the coolest dudes in the sport. He was only 58 years old when he passed away. And the Steelers, trending, 2 million searches in the last 24 hours, and the big search is, what's wrong with the Steelers? They started 11-0, they're 11-3, and yesterday they lost to the third-string quarterback of the hapless Cincinnati Bengals. Yeah, that's not a win. Head over to Twitter. This is great. If you guys have not seen it, just Google Sean Penn. He was on with Morning Joe today, and his look evokes very much Jeff Spicoli. He's a mess. He looks like he's been up. No way, bro. That's a sweet jacket, Stu. Where'd you get it? Yeah, hilarious. Check that out. It's just awesome. Smithsonian is also trending because if you go and look and see they're getting money out of all this stuff they talk about. You know, they're giving money to this and they're giving money to that. But the reality is a lot of money tucked in for a lot of different people inside of these COVID/stimulus/omnibus bill. Check that out. Chris Christie says, he may run in a few years. You don't know. And a very interesting thing that's trending still. Christy Smythe. She was a journalist covering, as some people say, the most hated man in the world. And that would be, I guess you would say it was Martin Shkreli, Farmer Bro. And somehow they kind of clicked. It's a very interesting thing. I think somebody like Farmer Bro, and for all of you guys don't know who he is, he's arguably one of the most obnoxious human beings, but a capitalist. And if you're going to look at somebody who is just, people would point out and say, this guy's evil. I don't know him, so I don't know if he's evil. But he does himself no favors. And I think he enjoys it. I think he enjoys playing the villain. I think he's doing 6-7 years right now. But he's an interesting character, and she went to cover him, and something happened. They kind of got groovy, I guess. Oh, Chad. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Check out Sean Penn. Spectacular. He's like, what's up, bro? How you guys doing? No way. No way. That's awesome, bro. Just totally looks like Jeff Spicoli. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Up on the housetop, reindeer paws. Out jumps good old Santa Claus. Down through the chimney with lots of toys. All for the little ones' Christmas joys. Ho, ho, ho. Oh, who wouldn't go?
Little Gene Autry again. Very popular. That right there. As we count down some great Christmas songs. Give you behind the scenes. Where'd they come from? Up on the Housetop. Written by Benjamin Hanby. The year, 1864. Gene Autry made it super popular in 1953. According to many, Up on the Housetop was the second oldest secular Christmas song, outdone by only Jingle Bells, and we just talked about that. It's also considered the first Yuletide song to do what? To focus on Santa Claus. It was published in a magazine, Our Songbirds by Root and Caddy. Some people say he owes the idea of Santa and the Sleigh on the Roof to Clement Seymour's 1822 poem, A Visit from St. Nicholas, commonly known as 'Twas the Night Before Christmas.
Look in the stocking of little Bill. Oh, just see what a glorious bill.
I love that song. I love Christmas music. Hope all of you guys are getting into the Christmas fun. Speaking of the Christmas fun, I finished my shopping, but do you also have to after shopping that's now kind of early shopping?
Clothing stores and specialty retailers usually don't have to cut prices too much during the holiday shopping season because people who want to buy what they sell are often willing to pay full price. But as we know, this has hardly been a normal season, holiday shopping or other. COVID-19 has left a lot of stores struggling to survive, and an end-of-the-year sales boost could be too late to save them. So many stores are passing along the bargains to buyers now. They're hoping to make up what they lost when they had to temporarily close.
Yeah. You have a chance. Good deals out there. Huge deals out there. Massive. I used to have friends who, maybe you guys have had friends like this. I don't know. But I had friends who, they didn't really do anything for Christmas. They celebrate Christmas. They had a tree and everything. But they waited till the day after Christmas. Then they went out and bought a bunch of stuff. And then they gave each other Christmas presents like the night after Christmas because they wanted deals. Good thing to do. Now you don't have to worry about that. Great deals galore. If you haven't finished Christmas shopping, I understand that. And the frustration, too, of what do you do if you order something and you think it's going to be here? I was talking to my son's mom. She ordered something the other day, and she's like, it's not going to get here in time. It was supposed to. I ordered it 3 weeks ago. Now they're asking me for a refund. And then you take it on yourself like, oh, God. I'm like, trust me, this Christmas is going to be amazing, but it does get frustrating. It does. Even if it's just something little, it's crazy. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Trump still not letting up the ghost of elections past. Also has the Grinch, apparently, inside of his head and having access, which scares some people.
Some of President Trump's top advisors and closest allies are alarmed that he's welcomed into the White House Sidney Powell, a controversial lawyer who's pushed some of the most extreme conspiracy theories about the election. Powell has been at the White House several times in the last few days. Sources say she's urging the president to use the full power of his office to investigate baseless claims about voter fraud, including rigged voting machines. Attorney General William Barr on Monday said he sees no reason to appoint a special counsel to investigate voter fraud, an idea the president's discussed with Powell, but one his top aides have opposed.
Now, I think it's silly too. But whenever I talk about this, I get blasted. But here's the reality of it. What's the basis at this moment in time? What do you have outside of what you think and what you hear from people like Sidney Powell, who are facing some serious issues themselves? What do you have? What do you have?
I've already commented on fraud. Let me just say that, there are fraud in unfortunately, in most elections. I think we're too tolerant of it, and I'm sure there was fraud in this election. But I was commenting on the extent to which we had looked at allegations of systemic or broad-based fraud that would affect the outcome of the election, and I already spoke to that, and I stand by that. If I thought a special counsel at this stage was the right tool and was appropriate, I would name one, but I haven't, and I'm not going to.
There you go. It's as simple as that. And this is the guy, Barr, who is like Trump's right-hand man. This is a guy who took some marching orders from Trump and did some of his bidding. Let's not pretend that he didn't. But the reality of all of this is, where is the fraud? Where is all of the things that these people say? And what I had a huge problem was, besides the fact that there wasn't any, no matter how many times you went back, that every time, first of all, it was only ever states that Trump lost. Secondly, they could accuse people over and over again on television of all of these things, no matter how many times you said, hey, look, here it is for real. This is what it is. You would just say, hey, you were with me before the election, but because I didn't win, obviously you're part of some sort of larger conspiracy to destroy me. And they came up with all these crazy things, whether it be Giuliani, who's all pissed off and upset because he can't go out there and talk about this all day long. I mean, he's mad. He wants to be able to go out there and talk about this. But over the last 48 hours, the Dominion, the Smartomatic group, both of these were part of, this big conspiracy that Sidney Powell says the Kraken. Both of these groups have went out and they've lawyered up. And Dominion's lawyered up big time. The lawyer that Dominion has is the guy that got, I think it was $175 million for the farmer who, when ABC News did a report, essentially said that the farmer that was a beef farmer, that this was the pink goo. That's all this stuff was. This one beef. This is pink goo. J. Eric Conley, $177 million. Think about that. That's what he got. So they've lawyered up. Why? Because they're over it. They think this thing's a bunch of crap. They think it's a bunch of baloney. And there's no proof, and you're going out and slandering them, and you're going out and saying horrific things about them, and you've got nothing to show for it, and they're willing to go to court and show it. And one of my other big frustrations is you'll stand in front of a court and you'll talk about, hey, we've got all of this proof. We've got all these affidavits, which we've talked about before. Affidavits mean nothing until they're sworn in and you're sworn in under oath. You signing a piece of paper and handing it to Sidney Powell doesn't make it guilt or innocent or anything where you could be punishable. Makes it none of those things. Makes it none of them.
Newsmax has found no evidence that either Dominion or Smartmatic owns the other or has any business association with each other. We have no evidence that Dominion uses Smartmatic software or vice versa. No evidence has been offered that Dominion or Smartmatic used software or reprogrammed software that manipulated votes in the 2020 election. Smartmatic has stated that it was not used in any battleground state contested by the Trump campaign. Newsmax has no evidence to the contrary.
But Newsmax gone out there over and over and over and said that. Said that in a very big way. 792 times Fox News and several others have gone out and said certain things. Smartmatic, Newsmax, they're all now facing serious issues. And they've all come back and they've started to walk back what they said.
Dominion has stated the company has no ownership relationship with the Pelosi family, the Feinstein family, the Clinton family, Hugo Chavez, or the government of Venezuela. Neither Dominion nor Smartmatic has any relationship with George Soros. Smartmatic is a U.S. company and not owned by the Venezuelan government. Smartmatic states that it has no operations in Venezuela. While the company did election projects in Venezuela from 2004 to 2017, it was never founded by Hugo Chavez.
Yeah, so they're walking it back. Everybody's having a walk. And it's pissing people off who want to get out there and talk about all of the fraud, yet when you talk about it, you don't produce anything.
Since somewhere in October of this year, it's been the strangest experience of my life. It's like I've been living in the Iron Curtain. I'm living in a country with the kind of censorship that I remember as a young child in East Germany, the Soviet Union. I can't get on I can't get on ABC, NBC, CBS. Can't even get on Fox anymore. If I say the word fraud, I'm thrown off the network. I'm sorry. There was fraud.
Where? Question, where? Where was the fraud? You saying it doesn't make it so. When you've been in court, your allies have been in court, Trump's allies have been in court, you've had the opportunity, and case in point, I point back to Wisconsin, not this past Saturday, Saturday before last, they had a chance to have an expedited hearing, which means evidence in the whole 9 yards, because you were asking them to stop the certification, and when you had the chance to talk about fraud, you presented no evidence and said there wasn't any fraud. Whose fault's that? Saying it doesn't make it so. And that judge who shot you down, a Trump-appointed conservative judge. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from all of you. AMAC, Association of Mature American Citizens, fastest growing over 50 organization in the country. So if you're looking for people who share your values, who want common sense immigration reform, protection of Social Security and Medicare, AMAC's there for you. On top of that, they give you great discounts on everything from retail, restaurant, travel discounts and everything, insurance discounts, all of those things. Plus, they're able to help you with things. Let's say you have questions with Social Security and Medicare and stuff in here. I don't know. They will help you with those things. They'll walk you through each step. They truly are amazing. They're pennies a day to join. Join right now. Simple and easy. Go to amac.us/Chad, amac.us/Chad. Join today. Take advantage of all of these great savings and help. amac.us/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
Being antisocial sucks. Hang with Chad's friends on Facebook, The Chad Benson Show. And if you just need some alone time, head on over to Twitter at Chad Benson Show. Either way, we can't wait to meet the real you.
Grandma got run over by a reindeer walking home from our house Christmas Eve. You can say there's no such thing as Santa, but as for me and Grandpa, we believe.
See, that's what you get, Producer Anthony, for asking. It's the most annoying song of all time. First words out of Producer Phil's mouth. Grandma got run over by a reindeer. Elmo and Patsy. Song was recorded in 1979. They only did it once on stage. Thought, hey, that's neat. We should do that again. They released it in 1979. Didn't really do anything. It was a self-release. But by the early 80s, it became a hit seasonally in country stations, even some top 40 stations. And by 1984, it had sold a decent amount of albums. Oink, which was their self-publishing record company, they sold 50,000 45s. Soundwaves, another company helped them, sold 175,000 45s. Epic, 150,000 45s and 90,000 LPs. And it even charted in the country charts. Yeah. So, definitely an annoying song. I think we can all agree with that. But when you hear it, you start laughing a little bit. Just a smidge. We all know it. Just a smidge. Just a little bit. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Love hearing from all of you. All right, so check this out. If something was going to happen on Christmas, to your Christmas tree, go back to that splendid vacation movie and think to yourself, oh, I see where you're going with this. Kind of, but a little bit different, but a lot of it the same.
It was a rude awakening for Aubrey Acabelli this morning. Her dog, Hookah, alerting her to an animal trying to make a new home in her Christmas tree.
Crawling through the doggy door, much to the surprise of the household dog.
There's a cat inside my Christmas tree. It's 4 in the morning, 4:15 in the morning. I hear a scuffle in through the doggy door. I don't know how the heck this just happened.
So there's a cat in the tree, and I like the fact that her name is Hookah, the dog. What kind of cat is it?
using a frying pan.
Go on. Dog is gone. Out of the tree. I swear if you knock down any of my glass ornaments, cat.
And a squirt bottle. She realizes it's not a cat.
No, it's not a cat. What is that? Is that a squirrel? No. What is that?
After a few minutes, Aubrey finally figures it out.
Oh, it's a raccoon. Oh, this is bad. This is bad.
She's not good with her animals. Yes, it's not a cat or a possum or a squirrel, but a raccoon. And if you've seen the video, it's all over the place, including swinging from the chandeliers that knocks over some of her very expensive ornaments.
And her dog jumps into action. With her tree on the ground, the raccoon scrambles out, looking for a new place to hide.
5 in the morning. There's my beautiful tree. There's the raccoon. There's the dog.
After 15 minutes hanging from a light fixture, Aubrey is able to knock it down with a broom and watch the animal finally scurry out of her home.
Yeah. I love that. If you've seen Christmas Vacation, you know, he gets pissed, he gets angry because the crazy uncle burns down his tree. He goes outside, cuts down a tree, brings it inside, and lo and behold, inside of it is not a raccoon, but a squirrel. But much of what happens in that movie happens here.
Now that it's not right there in that moment, it does seem kind of funny. It's probably going to get funnier the further away from it I get.
Yeah. It's a Christmas memory. You've created a Christmas memory. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Oh, look. It's Fauci.
Thank you, Dr. Fauci, for coming today. Any last-minute questions, concerns?
No. Any last-minute questions? What are you talking about? Like, something bad going to happen here? I'm just wondering. No. We're all clapping because he got a shot. Several others in the administration will be getting shots today for the next couple days. Yesterday, Biden got his shot, which is good. It's good for people to be getting out there and seeing this, right? I mean, that's what should be happening.
All right. No, you just go ahead anytime you're ready. Well, look, we owe these folks an awful lot. Frontline workers, we owe you big. One of the things is that I think that the administration deserves some credit getting this off the ground with Operation Warp Speed.
He thanked the administration more than most of the media does. But he got the shot. Fauci got the shot. I think Mnuchin and a few others are going to get the shot over the next couple days. I don't know if you're going to get it. I'll get it when available. It's going to help us get to herd immunity, which is going to help us get back to normal way of life, which is exactly what we want. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show, Twitter, as well as Instagram and many other things. It is the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
It's worth saying that there's great hope. I'm doing this to demonstrate that people should be prepared when it's available to take the vaccine. There's nothing to worry about. I'm looking forward to the second shot. So is Jill. She's had her shot. But the important thing is that, this is just the beginning. It's one thing to get the vaccine out, but it's going to take time.
Biden yesterday, president-elect, getting his shot earlier today. Fauci got his, as well as Alex Azar.
And thank you to NIH.
There you go. So people getting their shots. Biden also went on to credit this administration with the vaccine as far as Operation Warp Speed, which is great. I think you need more of that. Here we are. Are we here at the point where starting tomorrow, everybody and everything's going to be normal? No. But we're moving in a direction where that is going to start to take place over the next several months. But the reality is it's going to be tight for a little while. It's going to be tight for a little while. I've said it over and over again, even with the money that's coming in for people, we're going to see some serious issues in the first 6 weeks. I think the first 2 or 3 weeks, it's going to be ugly at the hospitals, ugly for our healthcare systems. I think we'll start to see that slow down. And then the financial side of things, even with help, it's still going to be a tough road to hoe. Yesterday, they got through the bill, got it passed, and the whole 9 yards. Great. We all cheer. That's fine. But the reality is, for a lot of people, it might be a little too late. For some people, it's going to be a massive helper. It'll stave off potentially them getting evicted, which is big.
The bill including a $300 temporary per week boost to unemployment benefits, also $300 billion for small businesses, and some help for renters facing evictions. Not a moment too soon.
Doesn't mean it's going to fix everybody's issues. And for a lot of businesses out there that thought they could hold on through the end of the year, seeing their businesses close, seeing their businesses essentially be open kind of, but not really, then closed, but then reopened and then closed again, and then partial capacity. This is going to be something that over the 6 to 8 weeks will really start to ramp up. You'll start to feel the actual cost of this. Some people not thrilled by this, want more.
We are in a national emergency. Even if the vaccines get out as quickly as people hope, it's still going to be 3 or 4 months. How are people possibly going to survive on $600 over the next 3 or 4 months? I don't understand the mathematics. And yet we are, as a nation, able to afford $740 billion for the military for just 1 year. We are able, as a nation, to afford a true $1 trillion tax cut for the wealthy and for big corporations. I mean, the priorities are bizarre.
Well, first, everybody's getting a piece of their own, because it wasn't just singularly, oh, the Republicans got all this. Were there tax? There's always tax crap in that. There's always somebody's griping about they got this, they got. Both sides scream about what the other side got, yet both sides laugh about the fact that they got what they wanted to. They got what they wanted. Is it enough? Yeah. No, enough would be getting people back to work. How are people supposed to survive on $600? Well, first of all, Robert Reich, former labor secretary, they're not supposed to survive on $600. They're supposed to be working. Secondly, most importantly, there's $300 extra a week for unemployment. So depending where you are in the country, that should hopefully stave off things, but you should, in theory, be able to get back to work. That's exactly what we're looking for. We spent a ton of money on this. This was a report from yesterday. I want you guys to understand how big this thing is. And by big, I mean, remember, this just isn't the stimulus. There's other stuff. You've got the omnibus bill, to keep the government open. I want you guys to hear the actual size of this thing.
This is one of the largest spending packages that Congress will approve in U.S. history. It totals $2.3 trillion, a $1.4 trillion spending bill that will fund the government through September 2021, and $900 billion for COVID-19 relief. The entire legislative text is 5,593 pages long, and Congress intends to pass the massive bill later Monday. According to our calculations, at £6 per ream of paper, which is 500 sheets, this $2.3 trillion bill weighs about 67 pounds, printed single-sided.
So, almost 70 pounds, almost 6,000 pieces of paper. A lot of pork, I'm sure, in there. Enough to go around for everybody. Not enough for some, probably a little too much for others, but no matter what you do, it will never be enough for some. It won't be.
You've got to be careful with old people, as most of us in Congress are. They don't like being old in the first place, so they get kind of touchy. And these negotiations were very touchy, and we had to be patient. But I think we're going to have a reasonably good result. It gives more money to small business, gives more money to the American people, gives more money to vaccine distribution.
But is it enough?
Oh, it's real help. It's $1 trillion, for God's sakes. There is no money, Ferry. We don't have this money. Will it be enough? I think it will be, but we're just going to have to wait and see.
It will never be enough for some. That's the reality. It'll never be enough for some. Some will always want more. Some will always want, what else can we do? Why can't we take more money from here and give it over here? And the other side's thinking the exact same thing.
I think that everybody has a right to be upset, at least upset about what is going on and why the priorities are being set as they are.
Because that's what we do. The priorities are set not by the voters, not by the people who fund all of these campaigns, the special interests. That's always been it. You know that, and I know that. It's about the fiefdoms. It's about keeping people happy and doing enough to hopefully keep your constituents happy, but also just doing enough, if not a little bit more, to keep the people who throw $1,000 parties in your name. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from you. We've got the new strain of this, they're calling it a variant of the coronavirus that's out there. Is it worse?
My concern here is about contagiousness. There is good evidence that this virus seems more contagious, but not any more deadly. And that part is reassuring.
That's good. So what does that mean? Well, the reason the numbers can be so big with coronavirus isn't the fact that this thing's the most deadly thing on earth, and if you get it, that you're going to die from it. Like that. Even though you watch the news that make you feel like that's just, it's over, it's done, you can't do anything. No, it's maybe a little bit more deadly than the flu. It's hard to tell because we'll never know the exact numbers. We definitely know that people who have comorbidities really struggle with this, certain blood types. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into this. But the net it can cast is much bigger. And that's the issue. It's not that it's a hoax or not a hoax. It's not a hoax. Trump, by the way, has never said it was a hoax. No matter what he did. No, he said it was a hoax perpetrated by the Democrats using something in an election year. No matter how much the Pelosi's of the world.
The distortion, the calling it a hoax, has caused hundreds of thousands of deaths. Not all of them attributed to President Trump, but most of them. They could have been avoided. So this is a matter of life and death, the lives of the American people and the livelihood of our economy and their economic security.
No. I'm not blaming him for the deaths. Could he have done more? Of course. Should he have done more? I think at times he could have absolutely done things that were far more positive than what he did. And this cost him. He's not going to be the president of the United States. That's the reality. This was a huge part of what cost him the election. But I'm not blaming him for stuff because states failed miserably as well in the way that they've handled things. It's the net that this thing casts that makes it as deadly as it is. So if you look at it, somebody walks in a room and there's 100 people in there. One person's got the flu. Maybe they give it to 2, 3, 4 people. Somebody else walks in the room and they've got this and they can give it to 10 or 15 people. Which one, even if it's not as deadly, is going to give it to more? So kind of like think of the Walmart thing. They can sell it much cheaper because they got a lot more of them and they're getting a good deal. It's the same thing. This thing can kill more because it will infect more. It's not a hoax, though. It's so weird. It's like, you Republicans. First of all, I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I'm an independent. Secondly, I understand why Republicans get pissed off because the media treats this thing as it's the second coming of the Ebola virus meets HIV meets cancer. And it's not. But I understand why the people on the left get frustrated with them, because the people on the right, because they don't understand. It's not about the deadliness. It's about how many people you can infect, which will, just from the law of averages, cause more deaths. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson shows your Twitter. You would think you would just go, oh yeah, I can see that. It's like, just break it down for people. This is why it is what it is. I think the healthy should be working. I think we should be back in our jobs. And I think if masks work, which, let's be real. Do I think masks work? I think they can slow down some things, but the reality is that we talked about it last week. You had a report that came out from the Physics of Fluids, which is our favorite magazine, that talked about, hey, look, after a couple usages of these things, they're not really, you might be better off not having one on. And no matter how many times I try to tell people, if it makes people feel comfortable, then great. Is it better than nothing? Perhaps. I would say, yeah, it's probably a little bit better than nothing, but it's not the end all, the be all. The best thing is the social distancing. If you keep apart from people, chances of you getting sick are slim to none. It's not 100%. But it's better than a dirty mask. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Twitter. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. Grab it for yourself. Great deals right now. I am just ramped up. My son will be here this weekend, so we're going to be eating our family friendly, which is meatloaf and burgers and all kinds of good stuff. Mashed potatoes, all the fixins. They've also got vegetarian, low-calorie options to choose from. 23 chef-inspired recipes sourced directly from the growers, sent to you contact-free. It's got recipe cards inside. When you're ready to choose a meal, say, hey, we're going to eat this tonight. It's that simple. It's got everything right there, including the card itself. And you just read the card, follow the instructions, make your meal. Within about 20 to 30 minutes, you're ready to eat. Save time, save money. 40% versus shopping at the grocery store. 25% versus the food waste that's out there. I've had meatloaf a bunch of times. That's my favorite right now during the fall season. The tacos and stuff, when it gets a little bit summery kind of feel. It's amazing. And I can do it if anybody can. Me, you can all do it. Get yours now. Save big. $80 off and free shipping. HelloFresh.com, promo code Benson. HelloFresh.com, promo code Benson. HelloFresh.com, promo code Benson. Chad Benson Show.
Serving up talk radio medium rare and dripping with irony. It's Chad Benson.
Well, no, it isn't. The masks aren't working at all. The thing's going through the roof and people are dying. Why would you want to discourage someone from taking a vaccine and say, oh, wear the mask? The N95 mask actually does work to a certain extent if worn properly and use sterile technique. So in the hospital, our doctors, I have a brother and a sister who are doctors, they wear the N95 mask and it's kept them from getting infected. But there's no value to the cloth mask at all. It's like wearing your underwear. You might as well cut your underwear up and wear your underwear for protection. It doesn't work.
That's gross, A, Rand Paul. And secondly, that's what I've kind of been saying. Look, a lot of it is psychological. It's like the TSA, right? Do you really feel like they're stopping anything? I just don't. I'm sorry. I don't feel the TSA is doing anything other than annoying us. They're reactionary. They're a placebo effect. Can the cloth mask do some things? Maybe, potentially, but it's the social distancing that works better. And if you buy, like, I have a mask right now. I have a mask that is a Santa Claus mask. I put it on Twitter as well as my Instagram, and it's cool. It's this red little mask, and it's got this Santa Claus beard that goes with it, and it's kind of funny. Do I think it's actually? I think this thing may stop more things because it's got this fake beard in front of it. But a lot of my other masks, even if I wash them 2-3 times, because I'll rotate them, the minute I'm done with it, I throw it on the desk, or you put it in your pocket. Is that really? No, it's not. Let's not pretend that it's. Now, do I think it may do a little bit more than what Rand Paul is saying? It's possible. But do I think it's the end all to be all? No. And people say, well, everybody needs to mask up. It's about the social distancing more than anything else. Not touching your face, not breathing on people. It's the social distancing that is a better slower down of this than anything else. But if masking up is helping people, not only keeping places open, but also for a lot of people, the psychology of it. It's one of the things that we've talked about since the beginning of this thing. There's going to be a psychological effect for a lot of people out there that even when we reach that herd immunity through partially people being infected and the other side of it is people who get the vaccine, there's still going to be a psychological aspect for a lot of people about going out and participating in the economy and in life. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. We've been talking about some great Christmas songs. We will continue that. Also, are people buying toys for themselves a little bit and to make up for a crappy year for kids? We'll touch on that. But my favorite worst Christmas song that kind of shows everybody in the West how nice we are. And at the same time, if you honestly think about it, you think, oh, my God, I've never heard of it put that way. We will touch on that. Text the program, 323-538-2423, at Chad Benson Show Twitter. Chad Benson Show TV is your YouTube over there. And check out the Facebook as well. We tend to do a lot of stuff there. We're going to do a lot more stuff in the new year with lives and YouTube and a bunch of other things as well. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
It's beginning to look a lot like vaccination. Soon you'll get the shot if you want. Alex Azar got the shot. Health and Human Secretary, right? So that's Human Service Secretary, that guy? He got the shot.
I'm so pleased to be here for this official kickoff of the vaccine developed by the NIH Vaccine Research Center, Moderna, BARDA, and other research partners.
Sounds like it's at the Olympics, like they're going to light something. And that's why I am bringing the first vaccination games to its open. And a vaccination we go.
We've all said it is nothing short of miraculous to have a safe and effective vaccine within 1 year of a novel virus becoming known to the world.
Yeah, it was miraculous. Even the president-elect gives a little kudos to Trump and the team.
All right. No, you just go ahead anytime you're ready. Well, look, we owe these folks an awful lot. Frontline workers, we owe you big. One of the things is that I think that the administration deserves some credit getting this off the ground with Operation Warp Speed.
Yeah, so there we go. Phenomenal. People getting shots. I don't know if you'll get one. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. That's a you thing. I've never once, never will I ever tell anybody to get a shot. If you feel that you're not worried about it, that this is something you're willing to do, then you go ahead and do it. If you feel like, now, you know what? I think for whatever reason, this is bad and evil, or I just would like to give it a little while to see, or whatever it is, I get that as well. I've never been one of these people to tell people to go do something. I think, too often not you hear people in my position in the world of talk radio or television say, you should do this, you shouldn't do that. You do your research. And that's tough to say because people don't do research anymore. People don't want to know. They've got something in their mind. They believe that thing's to be true. They never challenge it. They only want affirmation, not information. You do the research yourself. This vaccine was many years in coming. It's very similar to SARS and a few other things. So it wasn't like this wasn't something that was just, we came up with it an hour ago. And by the way, Moderna said that they cracked this thing in about 2 days. Focus on that for a second. All right. So this wasn't a overnight thing that happened.
What we're seeing now is the culmination of years of research.
Fauci, who got a shot today as well. So there you go. Get a shot, don't get a shot. That's a you thing. It's not a me thing. We're going to get to herd immunity faster, but you have to do what's right for you. Never tell you who to vote for. I'll never tell you who to like or don't like, and I'll never, ever tell you something like this. That's not what I'm about. But I also tell everybody, you got to do your research in life. And if you feel that this is something that I want to give it a little while, totally get that. If you feel like, yeah, I'm just going to go out and get it, get that too. And if you feel that you're going to get this and they're going to change your DNA, that's a you thing. I can't help you with that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Christmas week. Will you travel? Won't you travel? Everybody said that after Thanksgiving, we're going to find that we're going to have a huge, huge issue with spread, and it seems to be a spot on that we've had a massive issue with spread after Thanksgiving. What about Christmas?
Health officials say limiting holiday celebrations to members of your household only is the safest bet. But if you are traveling, they're urging precautions. Surgeon General Jerome Adams says,
now is the time to be especially prudent about limiting your bubble. Don't go out to a Ohio State football game party with 10 of your buddies and then go home to grandma.
Brown University's Dr. Ashish Jha adds,
limit exposure, wear masks indoors as much as possible.
The 3 straight days of 1 million plus air travelers are the first time that's happened since the pandemic began.
Yeah, so it's just about being smart. Again, it goes back to a little bit of social distancing and also knowing who you're going to be around. If you're around 10 buddies and you guys aren't going anywhere and some of you guys get it and you're not really worried about it, I won't freak out about that. I've talked about that with my little brother. He's 22. If him and his little friends get it, it ain't a big deal. As long as they're not around people that are susceptible. And he recognizes that. It's like, I wouldn't do that. If you're going to be around somebody who is susceptible and may get potentially really sick, you've got to think about that for a moment. Well, Chad, people can get this and die. They can. It's just about the common sense of it all. That's a lot of what this is the common sense. You have common sense enough to know you don't do that. That, hey, I'm going to go party all night with a bunch of people that I don't know, who I don't know where they've been, outside of a few of my friends, and then I'm going to go see Grandma Guns tomorrow, who I know if she got the cold or allergies, she may die. That's stupidity. Don't be stupid. Shouldn't be that hard, but we have to talk about not being stupid more often than not. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. With Christmas here, are you shopping a little bit for you as much as for kids?
Consumer psychologists call it COVID guilt. Parents and others feeling sorry for the kids in their lives and compensating at Christmas. And it may be tinged with COVID nostalgia as well, judging from the kinds of low-tech toys flying off the shelves. Puzzles, board games, Barbies, Tonka trucks, even reminders to parents of a time long before face masks and social distancing.
What's funny is the Light Bright thing is hilarious because when Jack and we've been shopping a couple times and he goes, "What's that?" I'm like, That's our tablet. That's our iPad. What's it do? Nothing. You could spell things in it and you can go into your closet and you can make it dark and then you could spell some stuff out. That's it. Okay, but what else? It doesn't do anything else. There is no other things. This is it. This is what it does. This is all it does. There is, if you're asking what does, this is it. Etch-a-Sketch was also the iPad and tablet for our generation. And I hated Etch-a-Sketch. I suck at drawing, and all I knew how to do was just it was awful. Etch-a-Sketch was stupid. It was a stupid thing. It still is stupid. Jeez, Chad. You know why people are getting these things? Part is nostalgia. The other part is kids are home, and they play video games all day, and they live on their phones and their computers, and they're streaming live with their pals. Jack does that. He's playing video games, and he's streaming with his pals, and they're FaceTiming each other. So, like some of the stuff we got him for Christmas, he's gonna freak out about. But it's a lot more geared to sometimes moving outside of that little area, if you will, of being stuck indoors, and partially because they're stuck indoors. They don't really have a choice. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Trump going to be moving out of the White House. Producer Phil just sent me something hilarious. I'll post this because I just like people to yell at me because it makes me laugh more than anything else. But it's it says, it's got a fence and it's got the White House. It says reopening soon under new management. It's funny. We can't laugh at stuff like that, Chad. Thievery. We've been robbed. Got to prove that in court, kids. Absolutely have to prove things like that in court. They've not been able to do that. And I've said it over and over again. I think people are over Trump, and you're going to hear that more and more once he's gone.
One Republican leader in Congress who has been quite close to the president told me the president is hurting himself and hurting his party with his behavior. This senior Republican told me, quote, "I am counting the days until he is gone."
I talked to two Republican Congress people, one from the great state of Arizona, another one from California, and they echo something very similar, that it just became a lot for them. It became a lot. And now you throw what's going on with the Sidney Powells of the world and should they invoke martial law and stuff like that with this stuff. It's people are just kind of over this and are just, saying, hey, we've had enough.
If you look at what is being discussed with martial law, and I think there's a lot of people that don't necessarily understand what martial law is. They know that it basically sounds ominous, right? Martial law is basically the federal military coming in and suspending the authority of state or local government. So you would have, in essence, the federal military come in and say, we're taking over to rerun an election because this one wasn't to our liking. Beyond the insanity of the election was completely stolen, we can't prove it, we just know it, the idea of sending the military in to rerun it would be a massive, massive red line.
Yeah, for a lot of people. Republican Rep Adam Kinzinger there. For a lot of people, that is a huge red. For me, it's a red line. Prove it in court. Prove it absolutely in court. And if 6 months from now, that's when that breaks and you found out that all of these machines or all these things that you thought happened were real and you prove it, guess what? The Joe Bidens and the Kamala, they're going to all be stepping down. But you got to prove it. And you haven't proved it because as far as I'm concerned, nothing happened other than you lost. Down ticket, Republicans did well. But when it came to Trump, Trump lost. Biden didn't win. Trump lost.
You know, the idea that John Roberts yelled at the entire Supreme Court and forced the real conservatives to vote against the Texas thing. A total lie, total fabrication, but most people believe it's real now. Same with the Dominion voting machine issue. The 68% error rate that was found in an audit isn't true at all. And you find out that was a human error in a Republican county. But the problem is so much misinformation is thrown out constantly that you lose track of what you ever believed, and to the point where now you believe that somehow on January 6th, the U.S. Congress can overthrow the results of an election.
Kinzinger, Republican, again, very true. It's not going to happen. Period. Case closed. End of story. On January 6th.
He could immediately, on his order, seize every single one of these machines around the country on his order. He could also order, within the swing states, if he wanted to, he could take military capabilities and he could place them in those states and basically rerun an election in each of those states.
That was Flynn, who said, I wouldn't do it, but, kind of prefaced it. But that's what he was talking about. And Kinzinger said, that's insane. Yesterday, AG Barr.
I've already commented on fraud. Let me just say that, there are fraud in unfortunately, in most elections. I think we're too tolerant of it, and I'm sure there was fraud in this election. But I was commenting on the extent to which we had looked at allegations of systemic or broad-based fraud that would affect the outcome of the election, and I already spoke to that, and I stand by that. If I thought a special counsel at this stage was the right tool and was appropriate, I would name one, but I haven't, and I'm not going to.
There you go. And when he means fraud, are there people out there that will try things? Yeah. Republican, was exposed yesterday because he voted for his mom or she voted for his dead mom. That's fraud. But is it going to sway the election? No. People get mad at me because I say, hey, I call it as I see it. I see this in such a way. Other people believe that all of these things were stolen and taken from the Republicans, in particular Trump. You've got to prove that in court. And the allegations are ridiculous. They are. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Shows your Twitter. Tweet at us. My Pillow is not ridiculous. It's amazing. 60-day money-back guarantee extended well into March. On top of that, the My Pillow, the one that started all, is $40 off. $69.98 normally. Now, $29.98. $5 for a king size. An amazing pillow. Best night's sleep. If you're looking to do something for yourself in the new year, give yourself a better sleep experience with My Pillow. That's what I want you to do. Go to mypillow.com. Use promo code Benson. Take advantage of this. But on top of that, take advantage of all of the other great things. Their mattress toppers, deep discounts. The Giza sheets, deep discounts. All the discounts they got on all of their products. Go to mypillow.com. Use that promo code Benson. mypillow.com. Use the promo code Benson. All right. Talk a little Christmas music. Have a little fun with the Christmas song that we all sing. And if we stood back for a second and go, what are they singing about again? You'd be like, we are hilariously awful. Chad Benson Show.
Warning, no snowflake zone. Uninformed opinions are in danger of melting. The Chad Benson Show.
It's Christmas time. There's no need to be afraid. At Christmas time, we can let in light and the banner shade. And in our world,
little Boy George there. That is Do They Know It's Christmas? Band-Aid. Famous song in the 80s. What you don't know about Band-Aid, what the hell it was all about. We all sing it. It is a staple on Christmas channels this time of year. It was written in 1984 by Bob Geldof and Mitch Ure. And it's kind of a bizarre situation. It's actually about famine in Ethiopia. We treat it like it's this Christmas thing, but it's basically all that white privilege is, but we didn't know it back then. And we love it. We love it. I love the song. So, Bob Geldof and then his partner, Paula Yates, watched a broadcast. Bob Geldof, famous for being Boomtown Rats lead singer, watched this broadcast about people starving inside of Ethiopia. Agencies like Save the Children were trying to do all they could. He decided he wanted to get something on the radio as fast as possible. He and Mitch Ure came up with something. They wrote it and then went to town on it. Mitch started composing it, putting all the music together. From there, Bob started calling everybody he could to get them and to come record. And this was the big people of the day. Paul Weller, Duran Duran, Tears for Fears, Thompson Twins, Tom Hadley of Spandau Ballet, Phil Collins. The list goes on and on. They got together, including Kool and the Gang and some TV stars as well. And they said it was a huge party. But he really wanted Boy George. And Boy said, I'll be there. He was in New York. And they called Boy, and they're like, Boy, you need to be here. We're recording it today. He's like, yeah, I'll be there. Don't worry about it. I just fell asleep. I'll be there. Fell asleep again. Finally, they got him up, flew him on the Concorde. He showed up. Bob was pissed. The party was on. They said they had bags of cocaine and drink everywhere. It was gone in moments, and it turned into some chaos and craziness. but that led to Live Aid, Band-Aid, and many other things. We sing about it more than anything else. And, of course, the criticism is now there for the colonial Western-centric viewpoint. Ah, my Lord. You can't win, but it's still one of my favorite Christmas songs. You guys have a blessed day. We'll wrap it up for the week tomorrow. Get ready for Christmas and the new year. Craziness, chaos. Be kind to each other. Night, night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.